we are going to be talking about the running back room. And Skylar's already mentioned a little bit about
I'm
this
sorry. I got excited.
this running back room, kind of taken away from our main talking point, but
No,
it's
not.
fine. It's fine. No, so you were at practice. You got to
Yeah.
see these guys in person.
Yeah.
Who would you say right now, based on practice, is going to be the RB1? Because in my personal opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong from what you saw, this is literally going to be a three-headed monster. I'm not going to say it's going to be, split down the middle. Each running back gets the same amount of carries each game. But I think you're going to see each one of these three running backs on the field a lot this year. But who do you think gets the RB1 spot?
No, I think that's exactly how it's going to be in game one. Is you're going to look at the box score at the end of the game, and every single running back has 8 carries. Like I do think that's exactly how it's going to be until one person clearly puts themselves a level above in game time situations. But if you're making me choose exactly what, it's Deshaun Bishop. I mean, it's the guy that it needs to be too, in my opinion. That's the guy that was your RB2 last year, and from what I can tell, he's done the work in the offseason to put himself in the position to be RB1 this year. But I just think Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas are too good to not play. So I do think it is going to be a three-headed monster, but I do think the redshirt sophomore out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Deshaun Bishop, will be the leader of the group, at least starting out. And I kind of want that. In my opinion, that's exactly what I want. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Deshaun Bishop. I think, having that RB2 spot last year, getting to see the field the way that he did, and honestly, his performance on the field whenever he saw
His
time
average,
behind, he
sorry,
averaged 6.7
I was going
yards
to
a
say
carry,
his
was not.
average yards per rush was insane. I mean, the guy just didn't get to play as a lot because you had the offensive player of the year as the RB1. So, I mean, yeah, I think Deshaun Bishop's got all the intangibles that you need. Talking about an underrated guy, could it not be Deshaun Bishop? I feel like he's overlooked more than anybody.
Yeah.
And I think he's just as, I'm not going to say just as good as Dylan Sampson, but I think he's going to get the job done. Let me put it that way.
I agree with you. I think any one of these guys can get the job done, but I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm sure you heard the same thing I did, listen to the Eric Ainge show. So question came in yesterday on the Eric Ainge show that Brian Rice answered. The question was, do you think that the running backs will be better this year than they were last year? And I loved Brian's answer to this. His answer was, running backs? No, they're not going to be better than they were last year. But he said, let me explain my answer. He said, none of these three guys this year are going to be Dylan Sampson, the offensive player of the year. But as a whole, I think the running back group is going to be more successful. You could see them rush for more yards as a three-headed monster. But as far as a running back being better than last year, no, they're not going to outperform what Dylan Sampson did last year.
I think you also got to give credit to the O-line. Not that I'm taking anything away from the running backs, but sorry for the delayed response. I had to report a comment from Facebook. Moto greater than football has got to be the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. So I had to report that real quick. But no, I do think that the offensive line could have a lot to do with it. Let's say, because in my opinion, I mean, let's just be real. There's 3 offensive returning starters this year. It is Miles Kitselman, it is Chris Brazzell, and it is Lance Hurd. That's it. Am I missing one? I don't think so. And if I am, I'm messed up on the Florida pod. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm not counting Mike Matthews because he was not a starter last year. So you have 4 guys on the offensive line that's completely new to our system, going in as a starter for the first time. And will they mesh? I think talent-wise, they could be better. But it all depends on how they communicate, how they pick up on blitzes, how they block together. And if they can get that done, it almost makes it easier on the running back room. So Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think whether it's the three-headed monster, if they go back to like a two back system, that we've seen Josh Heupel really, no matter what he's got in the room, he's kind of flexible enough to, okay, if we got one guy, we're going to ride him. But it was Jalen Wright, Jabari Small in 22 or whatnot, and then it was kind of like Dylan Sampson got into the three running back mix there in 24 or 23, and then
Yeah.
last year obviously it was Dylan Sampson. So I don't know, this year I'm going into it expecting and the big three, right? And I don't want to disrespect the other running backs in the room. There's not a ton in the room, but the big three: Star Thomas and Peyton Lewis. Star Thomas is a transfer from Duke. He is a senior. He's very experienced in the game. I think he picks up. I think his eyes are great. The way he moves, the agility. I think that's another thing, that all three of these backs have something different that they can bring to the game. Peyton Lewis is a guy, in my opinion, that is fast, but will freaking run you over too.
Yeah.
Um, I think Star Thomas is very much more of like a not an H back, but maybe like a twitchy back, make you miss type of back, get the ball to him in open space kind of back, right? Whether it's a screen pass or something like that, let him get in space and let him go. But then, in my opinion, Deshaun Bishop's just kind of like a great in between, and I think Deshaun Bishop's going to be one of your better pass protectors, and I think that's going to be key in this room as well.
I think that's what's going to get him the RB1 positions, because
Oh
I
yeah,
think he's a little bit ahead of the other two when it comes to pass protection. I think that Star Thomas has a little bit more experience overall on the field, but when it comes to the pass protection side of things, I think Deshaun Bishop's just a little bit more seasoned overall. Now, I will say, in this day and time, running backs aren't asked to pass protect as much as they used to. So it's kind of a lost art, which is why you see different running backs have to develop some before they can get on the field. That's why it took Dylan Sampson so long to get onto the field behind Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, was because he was the most talented, in my opinion, out of all three of those.
yep,
But he was so far behind the other two whenever it came to run blocking that he wasn't able to see the field the way that he probably should have because of his talent. Um, so that's why I do think you're going to see Deshaun Bishop on the field first. So
yep.
Sean says, not much knowledge on Thomas, but Bishop is a dog at running back. Regardless, as long as we can have a balanced offense where we can actually confuse a defense for once, we should be good. So
I,
I won't say so much confuse a defense.
just keep them
Uh,
on their toes. I
Keep
mean,
them on
think
their
about it.
toes. Yes,
Josh Heupel's always been good about being somewhat balanced, but I do feel like the last couple of years,
it's been
it's
more
been
run
sixty
heavy.
forty run. It's been 60-40 run.
I would even lean more 70-30 at
And it
times.
and it very well might. Now, at the end of the season, it might look a little bit more even than that, just because when you get in obvious passing situations or you're losing or whatever, like obviously you're going to end up passing the ball a little bit more. But overall, it would be nice to get this offense rolling. And when you pick up that first down, it's not just an automatic handoff on 1st and 10. We can actually do a play action RPO or whatever and throw the ball, because we need to have that confidence in our quarterbacks and in our offensive line to protect our quarterbacks and our wide receivers, which again, I think our wide receiver room is probably more talented, but definitely a lot less depth there. But running backs, man, I'm excited about this room. I
Yes,
I think the only two position groups that I'm worried about this year on this team is both offensively, but it's quarterback and it's wide receivers.
I agree.
Running backs, I feel great about. Our front seven on both sides of the ball, I could seriously see them being top 5 in the country.
I
It's
feel
defense.
really good lately about the offensive line group from what I've heard coming out of
Yes.
practice.
Yes.
I
And
feel very good about them.
one more little teaser, David Sanders.
He's
Dude,
everything that he's been hyped up to be.
bro. Oh my goodness. Him and Lance Hurd. If I'm being honest, Lance Hurd's put in some work over the year. Lance Hurd last year, in my opinion, looked a little bit shorter and maybe a little bit thicker. Nah, nah. David Sanders and Lance Hurd in the huddle. Dude, I wish if I wasn't 5'2", I could perfectly describe this. But when they are in the huddle with other offensive linemen, even Joe Aguilar, because he's not even that tall. George McIntyre, by the way, is very tall. But Lance Hurd and David Sanders in the huddle are like looking down, bro. Like they are beasts. I'm like, all right, these guys are big and they can move. I have all the confidence in the world in our tackles. As long as they're getting
And
coached up, man, I'm super stoked.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the goal for David Sanders this year to put on like 30 pounds of muscle or something like that? Just
Oh, and he
basically put
did.
on 30 pounds,
Oh, and he
but he
did.
put on like 50 pounds, did he not?
I don't know if he put on 50. I think he came into it around 270, and I think he's weighing about 305 right now. I think.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly, that way they can't hold it to me. But I think he's put on a good 35, almost 40 pounds, and he's only gonna get bigger. But I love the fact of how he's gotten bigger. I mean, the dude almost has abs. I mean, like dude's massive. So I love what I'm seeing on the offensive line, and I think William Satterwhite's going to be the starting center, which in my opinion is the best case scenario. You put
I agree.
Pendleton and Wendell Moe at the guards position, and you've got a front five that I honestly am confident in. And I think the quarterbacks and the running backs are too.
And you know somebody I've been hearing a lot of great things about on the offensive line in that two deep? Jesse,
Sham Umarov. Oh,
Sham Umaroff is one, but Jesse Perry,
yeah.
the MTCS guy.
But that's another thing that excites me is like, okay, we know who our starting five is, who's behind them. And I'm hearing great things about the folks behind them too.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I mean, I love it.
excited.
Competition breeds competition. Like, just get better every day, and I do think that this group is doing it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
So,
question marks on the offensive side of the ball because, like I said, we've literally only had 3 returning starters. But if Josh, I'm telling you, if Tennessee is a 10-2 team at the end of this year, give Josh Heupel Coach of the Year award. There is absolutely no way he doesn't deserve it. With how when Nico's situation happened, the country literally doesn't care about Tennessee. They are literally predicting 6-6 and 7-5 type seasons because Nico left. They're not realizing that our front sevens on both sides of the ball are still really good, and our defense, in my opinion, is not dropping a bit.
our defense could easily be top 10 in the country this
I
year.
agree.
I
Defense
mean,
is what
it's
won us games last year. We went
yeah.
3 first halves last year without scoring a single point, and we
It
still won. I
still won
think
all three. No. We won
we lost
2
to
of them.
Arkansas.
We lost to Arkansas. Yes.
Beat Florida and Bama after going scoreless in the first half. I mean, come on. I'm really excited about Syracuse. I want to see us beat their brakes in, and then I start getting really excited for Georgia. Honestly,
Yeah. So going back to the running back room, that's what we're talking about.
I thought we talked about it. I'm sorry.
We did. We kind of got off track because we're just so excited about the season getting ready to start. So my expectation this year for the running back room, obviously, I'm gonna agree with what Brian Rice said. You're not gonna have a guy that is gonna be offensive player of the year like Dylan Sampson was last year. You're not gonna have a guy this year that is going to rush for 1,000 yards. But I think that you're gonna have running backs. All 3 running backs, I think, are going to rush for minimum 600 yards.
Yeah. Hot take. I do think your touchdown production goes down in the running back room.
I can agree with that.
Only because I think we're going to have more passing touchdowns.
I agree.
We barely had passing touchdowns last year. So
I mean, how many rushing touchdowns did we have last year? I mean, Dylan Sampson alone
Sampson
had.
This is how absurd it was. Nico had 19 passing touchdowns, I think, last year in total. I think Dylan Sampson had 22 or 23 touchdowns, and maybe even rushing touchdowns. He might have had more in that total. So, yeah.
I'm looking up
Look it up. That way we have actual numbers. Because I'm going straight off the top of my mind right now.
Yeah. So
while you're doing that,
Dylan Sampson last year had 22 rushing touchdowns. As a team, rushing touchdowns, we had 34 rushing touchdowns compared to 21 receiving touchdowns. So I agree with you. I don't think we're going to have 34 rushing touchdowns this year. I don't know if we have 30 this year because I agree with you. I think we're going to have a lot more passing touchdowns overall.
Right on. Dude, I'm so proud of myself for knowing that. Come on.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, dude, off the cuff, bro. All right, Jade comes in and says, "I hope we don't always play from behind this year." No kidding, dude. But that's just Tennessee. Last year I felt like we always started slow, got behind, had to play catch up. 100%. I agree with you. We need to get off. We need to get back to that 22 and 23 team that would literally score 28 points in the first quarter and literally not feel sorry about it. We need to get back to that. Big Blue breakdown. I gave you guys going 8-4, respectable, and that might be too low to you guys, but I do have you beating my Cats. Understandable. Just can't seem to do it. I mean, no disrespect, but I'm really iffy on Joey Aguilar. Does he mean
that's a completely fair point?
Does he mean that he doesn't have us beating his Cats? I
No,
don't know.
he's saying that he's got us beating Kentucky because they
Okay.
just can't seem to beat Tennessee,
We just can't
no
seem to
matter
do
what
it.
it
I
is.
got you.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's us with Florida. I mean, we both predicted us to lose to Florida. Just shocker,
yeah.
by the way, when we do our prediction. But
So
yeah,
as far as that 8-4 record right there, we haven't done our Tennessee predictions. We're gonna do those in 2 weeks. But just kind of very quick breakdown. I can see us losing to Georgia. I can see us losing to Alabama. I can see us
Oklahoma,
losing to Florida. Then that fourth game, that could be a
Arkansas,
letdown.
Oklahoma.
I was gonna say that could be a letdown game against Mississippi State. It could be Oklahoma
No,
at home.
it's not happening to Mississippi State, dude. Get
I
out of
mean,
here with that. Get out of
look,
here with that.
8-4 is not out of the realm of possibility, but that is a disappointing season in my
But it
opinion.
ain't gonna be Mississippi State. It's gonna be Arkansas or Oklahoma. So,
Speaking of Mississippi State, I found out that they're doing a whiteout for the Tennessee game
I
this
don't
year.
care.
So dark
What
blue uniforms at
for
Mississippi
their
State.
3-9 season? Congratulations. I don't care. All right. No. All right. Anything else on the running backs before we get into A&M?
Oh man, I'm just super excited about this room this year. I'm ready to see what they can do on the field because I mean the hype around all three running backs is real at this point. And I mean, Peyton Lewis has been described on Twitter as having a goddess, or not a goddess because that's a female, but having a god type of body, like a Greek god type of body on him. And not just the way that he looks, but the way that they're looking at practice on the field. It's got me super excited about what this group can do this year.